I wanted to be the real version of a movie. But that's the hard part though. That movie's inspirational. And in my life, there's a lot of times in my life where it wasn't so inspirational. There's a lot of lonely moments where there was no going the distance song in the background to keep me going. Man, there's a lot of times, a lot of quiet times, a lot of failure, a lot of disappointments, a lot of starting from scratch. But that's when I started to develop a different mentality. And I started to develop a mentality of, this is where it's at. Where you find out where you're at is when you're at the fucking lowest part of your life. So I started to develop a whole new mindset. Like, the lowest part of my life used to make me feel bad. The lowest part of my life now, it actually gives me strength because I know so many people stop. That's where they quit. When they get to the fucking sewer of life, versus looking at it saying, oh yeah, motherfucker, now let's see what the fuck is up. Let's see what the fuck is up now. Let's see the millions of men out here in this world. They're not going where I'm willing to go now. This is where people stop. And this is where I started to develop the different mentality is, you want to test my resolve? You want to test my ability to go the distance? That's where that mentality started for me. Because I started saying, man, you always end up in the dungeon. You gotta find strength in that motherfucker. No one else does. So that Rocky movie was a little bit of a spark, but to become that person, it takes a lot. You know what's funny about me, man? I have zero anger. I'm a passionate guy, so I get it though. The way I talk, the way I come across, I'm an aggressive guy. Because that's what it takes to, like, if you walk into a situation, into a fight, I'm not saying be so aggressive that you're so aggressive that you're making bad moves. But if you don't have a little flame burn in you, knowing that I might get fucking hit real fucking hard, and when I get hit, I have to attack. I have to bring, I can't get knocked out. You have to have that mentality of, when I went to hell, I knew I was gonna get broken. I had to have an internal flame in me that could never be, it couldn't be kindling. Kindling, you put the water in the fucking kindling, that fucking shit's out. I had to be a motherfucking tree that is burning hard. It's burning for a long fucking time. And that's what I became, man. So it's not anger. Anger can't sustain you for a long period of time. Because once you get in a situation, trust me, I tried it before. When you get in a real hard situation and you're miserable, that anger is gone. What comes up is real. The real feeling of who you are and where you're at, you don't ever care about the people who made fun of you in high school. Because now, you become selfish. You're like, let's say you're in hell, you're in that cold fucking water, it's 50 fucking degrees, and you're right now you're sitting there thinking, oh fuck dude, like, your mind is thinking, those fucking kids in high school bullied me. No, you're thinking, so that anger can feed you for so long. There has to be something so deep in you that drives you. So what really does it for me is I know what we're capable of. And I know that most human beings aren't willing to go where I am. And that's a very, very dangerous thing. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. Everybody has this talent. It's not a talent. It's just realizing that we stop way short of our true potential. So through my life, I realize these things. And I know what gives me fuel is I know that most people who are blessed with so much talent, great parents, great upbringing, didn't come from where I come from. They're gonna quit before me. Having all the tools that they have, they didn't have the ability to examine themselves. When you have everything so nice in life, it's great to have a great life. But what happens is you don't self-examine. You don't do a live autopsy. When you have a fucked up life, it almost forces you to do a live autopsy. It forces you to find strength from places that no one looks from. Because food is not at the ready. You know, me, I have a learning disability. It's not at the ready. I can't just pick up a book and start reading. There's preparation behind everything I fucking do. There's everything I do has to come with so much fucking preparation. It's despicable. It makes me sick. My own personal life makes me sick. That's why I'm so disciplined now. Without my self-discipline, there is no David Goggins. Like, I can't stop reading. I won't be able to read tomorrow. I will lose it that fast. I cannot stop going to the gym. My mind is set up in a spot where, hey, the second I stop, it wants to stop because I had a quitting mind growing up. Your mind wants to go to that nice spot where you're comforted, where you're not trying, where shit is easy. That's where your mind, it doesn't want to think. You have all these things in the mind, and the mind can only absorb so much shit. So all the pain it has to go through, it wants to push it away and say, let's not do that. So every day I'm fighting where the mind wants to go. So it's a constant evolution, man. I've never arrived. I'm that's right now, I'm stressing out 2-3 hours a day. I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm like, oh man, I went through Navy SEAL training being fucked up. I ran over 7,000 miles in 2007 being fucked up. I did pull-up records being fucked up. Now that the mind is so fucking strong, let the body catch the mind. So now where I'm at. So I'm always trying to reinvent the wheel and see what I'm capable of next. I haven't even touched 50% of it yet because I didn't realize until I got so sick how sick I was going into some of the hardest things in the world. When I realized how tight my body was, because I didn't bitch about shit. I didn't go through like when you're going through SEAL training, you don't sit back and say, hey man, do you have this problem? Do you have that problem? Hey, I'm having a tough time just getting my leg over the fucking cargo net. Because literally, my abductors were so fucking tight, how I ran was like, I took like steps like this big. I wasn't like striding out. My shit was fucked up. I had stress fractures. Why did I have stress fractures? Because my body was so tight in my hips that was forcing my body to go in, and I was putting pressure all on the inside of my body. So I lived with stress fractures, trying to tape up my body, tape up my shins, tape up shit. You don't go through, so I went through training this way. I was so fucked up. Issues with my fucking abdomen, issues with my fucking groin, all kind of messed up issues. So I realized I went through training, 100-mile races, 200-mile races, pull-up records, all on the mind. It wasn't a physical thing I had. I was broken, literally broken at the start line of everything I did, including Navy SEAL training, Ranger School, everything I did in the military, I was fucked. But I didn't sit back and say, hey man, so no one knew. No one knew. I want to talk about it, and this is really the first time I really talked about it. So I basically realized, my God, man, at the 6th time in my life, I realized, my God, I was so fucked up the entire time. So now, the mind is so powerful. I figured that out. Now, if I can get this body all stretched out, opened up, get all my organs working properly, now let's be at 44. Let's see what can really happen. It's how you look at it. And I looked at my shit was, this is the perfect training ground to being a man. You know, a lot of people, like I was talking about taking the path of least resistance. I believe in life you must earn the right to be called a man. And a lot of people do not think the way I do, and that's fine. I'm not asking to be David Goggins. Trust me, it's a hard fucking road to hoe. It's not fun all the time. But the thing about it is, you have to look, I looked at my hardships as challenges. Once I got over the pity party, because I went through that phase. I'm a normal human being. But I realized that got me exactly where I was at, even worse. As I looked at those challenges the way most people do, woe is me. Why the fuck can't I get a break? Why? I wish I was better. I wish my parents were better. I wish I had a better education. I wish this, I wish that. They have all these wish sandwiches. I started realizing, how can I fucking figure out how this shit can fucking work for me? So the one thing we don't do is when we're in that dark place is a great learning environment. If you can sit back in a dark place and find quiet to just think, there's so much power in your failures, in your fucking, in your suffering. Because why? You're still alive. You're still fucking here. So you gotta look at that shit as, my God, man, this is power, man. Like, now I gotta flip this shit. How many men will be able to do what I'm about to do, what I'm about to try to do? Like, literally, what gave me strength was when I was at the worst of my worst, how many men would even fucking say they want to try to be a Navy SEAL? I'm at the worst spot of my life. Like, I can't even walk down the street, let alone run down the street. And I'm gonna now call a recruiter up and try to be a SEAL. There's a lot of power in that. But people don't see it there. They see it, man, that's stupid. And the reason why, because I had this voice in the back of my head that I kept on running from. I was afraid of water. I was afraid of dealing with things. that made me feel unaccepted. I didn't accept myself. So I kept on going towards things that I felt good. Let me go this way, but something kept on saying, motherfucker, you have it, man. You got it, man, but you're gonna have to fail a lot, but you have it. And like I said, that voice kept on haunting me, but that voice kept on saying, if you face it, you realize it's not that bad. To me, it's God. I don't get off on the whole spiritual tangent, you know, I don't push that on anybody. I don't care what you believe in. But if you think you're the only motherfucker out here, just chilling out, and there's nothing, and I don't know what God is. No one does. I don't know anything about it, but I know there's something that is above David Goggins. There's too much energy in this world. There's too much, trust me, I've experienced it, man. There's too much energy, and people call it God, you call it what you want. There's something out there that if you can tap into more than yourself, there's something out there that truly exists. That if you're able just to let yourself go there, it truly exists. And that voice has been in my head, and whatever it is, it's been there. And I didn't want to listen to it because listening to it was painful, because it drove me to my fears. It drove me to my insecurities. It drove me to my lies. It drove me to the spot that made me feel self-doubt. And I didn't want to go there. It drove me like, hey, over here in this pile of shit where everything is at, you're gonna find the true meaning of your life. But I'm like, over there is all the bad shit. I don't want to go over there. My dad's over there, the people that didn't like me over there, I'm over there. All that shit is over there. But once you go over there and start to re-examine that shit and start to master what you're afraid of, it's unbelievable, man. Like, I wish to God, the only way I can really describe it is if I can get my brain and put it in someone's head and say, all right, motherfucker, just shut the fuck up and just hear. I can't explain it well enough, but here, I'm not super fucking man. Just this, look, this is what happens. Because basically, what's over there is victory. It's all fucking victory. But you have to have the balls and the fucking courage, man. And that's the hard part. There's no science behind this shit. There's no fucking practice. Literally, you have to have to go in your own life, in your own shit. And once you go in there and you're able to face it and able to talk about it, you're now on the even playing field with everybody in the world. I don't give a fuck where you come from, how much money your parents had, how much money you didn't have. If you're able to handle yourself, know what you're about, know what you're made of, know how fucked up you are now on an even playing field with the world. So once I did that, all these people who have more money than me, when they came, I had great parents, and they're like, oh my God, I caught all you motherfuckers that quick. Because all the money, all the surface things go away. Because we all are human beings. That money and shit, all that material shit doesn't matter. It's what's deep inside of the core of your soul that fucking matters. And that's what I realized, man. I leveled the playing field out. Oh no, man. Because obviously I tell myself how fucked up I am. But I'm also believing you have to give yourself credit when credit's due. And I became that fucking movie and then some. Like, if you look at the Rocky movie, and I look at it now, and it's still inspirational, that scene still brings back those moments. I saw a Rocky train in the movie, but I see what I went through in real life. That movie's a fraction. That all those movies I watched that inspired me, they're all fractions of the real work I put into my life. And I don't ever talk about it enough. The amount of work I put into being who I am, I don't have enough time in the fucking day. Like, I don't talk about it. I don't brag about it. No one even knows about it. Like 99.9% of the shit I did to get to where I'm at today was alone, out there running in cold and heat, suffering in pools, trying to swim, at home in a fucking room by myself, trying to teach myself how to read and write, how to study. You know, no one saw that shit. There was no video camera, there was no podcast, there was no Who's David Goggins, there was no docu-fucking-remember that shit. It was me. Just for me trying to get in the military. Everybody can do. It's easy. Just trying to learn how to read and write was something that blows Rocky away. So all these different challenges I've been through in my life, I've easily, I don't look at that movie the same way, because I'm proud of what I created, but I'm more proud of I created it without an audience, without a cheering squad, without someone like you run the Boston Marathon and people love that race. They run so fast because for 26.2 miles, there's a motherfucker just, come on man, you got it, you can do it. You know who you are, but there's no motherfucker out there when you're running. And you're at mile 75, 150 mile race, ain't nobody cheering for you. You're broken, you're fucking defeated. It's you and you alone in your fucking head. And I stayed that way for the better part of 30 fucking years, trying to figure this shit out. And once you figure it out, you look at everybody and say, hey, so you're all broken now. Is that how you want to be? Yep. If you could feel, if I could put my brain in your fucking head, you said the same fucking thing. You would no longer think I was fucking crazy. You no longer think I was sadistic. You realize, motherfucker, this guy found it. He found it. We're all looking for this feeling. We're all looking for this feeling. People look at me because I don't always smile, I'm not always jovial. Nah, man, don't get it twisted, dude. People see, oh my God, you look in his eyes, you see like almost an emptiness. So many people who are judging us don't understand. They don't want to look in the eyes of me. They don't want to look in the eyes and study them. What you see in me is fucking real life. That's why a lot of people resonate with me, because I skip through all the fluff. Fuck that. I can't fluff shit. I can't. Why? I don't know what that is. Life didn't present me with fluff. So I'm expressing to you what I know a lot of us are going through. A lot of us are going through fucking hell. Maybe not as bad as me, maybe worse than me. But they don't know how to express it because we're supposed to live in a fucking world where we have to talk a certain way. We have to walk a certain way. We have to act a certain way. A kinder, gentler world. Nothing gets handled in that fucking world. You stay fucked up in that world. You stay in a world of things will get better because someone said they would, and I need to find peace. No, you need to go to fucking war with yourself, man. At the end of that fucking war, you'll sit back all damaged and bruised and scarred up and fucked up, and maybe your psoas muscles so tight that you may lose 2 inches on your fucking body. Who knows? But then that fucking war, you're gonna sit back on the couch, maybe have a fucking glass of water, you drink a beer. The war may be 30 fucking years, but when it ends, you will know what the fuck it's all about then. And then you'll find your fucking peace. You'll find your fucking peace then. But until then, you'll always be searching to find that nice, kind book that guides you beyond all your personal suffering and shit. That miracles your fucking ass to peace. It doesn't happen, man. Maybe it does for some people, but you're just scratching the surface of real life. Work out every day. Better yourself every day. Suffer. Go back to a spot that's not so fucking comfortable for you. Just because you made it and you've arrived somewhere, and if that's your mentality, you're no longer a fucking mentor. Don't fucking mentor, motherfucker. If you're happy where you're at, take a few steps backwards and go back to where that one spot that made you. That spot that made me was that time on the couch and sitting with fucking chocolate milkshake, 297 pounds. I can't go back to 297, but I can go back to how that time felt, because that's when I was the hungriest. We lose the hunger and then we go into mentoring people. I'm mentoring you for a nice 72-degree temperature room. Everything is great. I'm making millions of fucking dollars, and people are mentoring people. That's great. What did you do today to get uncomfortable? What did you do today to earn that manhood? What did you do today to mentor my fucking ass? What did you do today? I don't give a fuck what you did 20 fucking years ago. If you're not doing it now, stop mentoring a motherfucker. Retire. And say, hey, young man, I don't know anymore. I'm now comfortable. You need to be in a spot that's hungry. It's a fucking thin line, man. I walked it. When I invented the accountability mirror, I walked it hardcore, and you have to walk it because we live in a world where you have to love yourself, and it's important to love yourself. I'm all about that. You gotta, but we also live in a world where if it helps me to help you, I help you. Some selfish motherfuckers. So yeah, back to your question. The accountability mirror is something that you have to be so real and raw, and you can't talk to yourself in a nice way. But you can't get so bad in that accountability mirror where you get it twisted and you start putting yourself down all the time. You gotta call yourself for what you are, but you also gotta give credit where credit's due in the accountability mirror also. So when I did the accountability, I was like fucking in high school when I did this shit. And I was a fucking character. I was a liar, I was a character, I was a cheat. It took several years to get out of that, man. I didn't know. And I hate to put ignorance on something, but when you're trying to literally invent a man out of nothing, you have a whole bunch of shit to go through, man. And I had a whole bunch of shit to go through. It took a lot of years. I was the epitome of getting it done. I wasn't proud of how I got it done. I wanted to be proud of it. I wanted to earn. I wanted to earn how I got it done.
Yeah.
That was the thing, man. That's what bothered me. Back to the accountability mirror, you have to call yourself out for what you are. And at that time, I called myself out. But you also have to be careful for a lot of people getting this mentality of, we live in a world a lot of times now where people don't believe they're good enough ever. And they continuously talk about this, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm never gonna be good enough. If that's your accountability mirror, that's not how you do that. Call yourself out for who you are at that time. Be real with yourself, be honest. And then start to fix that. And change, so the most important conversation is when you have yourself. You have to change that conversation. If you're a negative person and all you talk about is, I'm not good enough here, that person, that's not how that works. That accountability mirror has two sides to it. You call yourself out and you also start to have these small victories. The small victories, don't have this big grandiose, like I want to be a Navy SEAL. Trust me, man, don't do what I did. I had very limited time to do what I did. So my accountability mirror became huge and grandiose. It's too much for the brain to comprehend. The brain can comprehend if I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, which I did, that's too much. You quit doing that. I quit 100 times during the process. Just fucking look at it. If your goal is 106 pounds, be happy when you lose a fucking pound. Progress is always about moving forward, not moving back, not staying stagnant, moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. I've been stretching out now for almost 6 years. I take all these steps back, but I see that I'm going forward. My body's trying to go forward. I've been patient and patient. I've been doing this for almost 6 years. I'm about to go back to Badwater 135. It's been since 2014 when I had to drop out for health issues. Could never get back to the start line. And guess what? Haven't shared this either. I went from running 205 miles in 39 hours to not being able to get out of bed. When I dropped out of Badwater, a couple months later, a few months later, I'm in my bed, not able to get out of my bed. The doctors couldn't figure anything out with me, nothing. I sat in the bed and I smiled. I didn't even listen to the book. And I went through it all, and I said to myself, I'm gonna win Badwater. I couldn't even fucking walk. I couldn't get out of bed, 2014. And my mentality is, I'm gonna win fucking Badwater one day. And I swear to God, that's exactly what I thought. Versus laying in that fucking bed, thinking this is it. And I thought this was it. I thought that. How do you fucking get this sick, man? How the fuck my body shut down? I'm all fucked up. What's going on? I've had 2 heart surgeries. What's wrong with my health? And I sat back after I calmed down. I stepped back and I smiled. I'm in the bed. I said, you know what? This is it. You can win Badwater one day, brother. I earned the right to be broken. And people go, man, what does that mean? Every scar, every wound, every broken bone, every issue I had, even all these fucking little marks coming on my body, it comes from sacrifice, trying to become someone. And I'm not saying do what I did. My life took me down a journey that almost forced me to propel myself to where I went. And it was worth it. Honestly, man, I'm very grateful for it. I'm more grateful for that than being a CEO, going to Ranger School, anything I ever did in my life. So people always go they come to my house, and I've done so many races and so many different things. I don't have an I love you wall. You walk in my house, it's like you see the decorations on the fucking wall what my fucking fiance has done. There's nothing about me. And they go, why is that? Man, you've done so much in your life. Man, all this shit up here is priceless. Like everything I've gone through, all this, like the journey of my life has been something that I can never ever be able to say enough about. You know, it is who I am. You know, like everybody wants to be proud of themselves. When you finally become proud of yourself, you no longer give a flying fuck what it took to get there. And that's what people always say, man, look at you, man. You know, you have all this stuff happen to your skin and your body's broken, this and that. The feeling I have in my mind is priceless. And it's not going to say you have to do it over again to get this feeling again. I do it all over again, with a smile on my face. It honestly came from, I was a big time movie guy. So we had no money. We lived in a $7 a month place growing up for a long period of time until my mom finally got enough money to move out. My best friend, his name is Johnny Nichols, growing up. His parents had 2 VCRs. So I would come over there and I would go to Johnny's house, and every fucking Sunday and Saturday, they had like fucking 1,000 movies, man. And I would go over there and start watching movies. That's what I did. They would be home, I'd walk in the house, start watching fucking movies. And one of the movies I watched was Rocky. And I got obsessed with Rocky, I got obsessed with Platoon and Rambo and all those fucking kind of war movies and shit. And I saw all these fucking badass guys. And one scene that particularly, I probably broke his damn VCR trying to watch this one scene. One scene that changed my life, it was only 2 minutes and 13 seconds, I believe around there, was Rocky 1, round 14. I talk about it all the fucking time, but it literally fucked me up. Like, you know how you're watching something and you get this weird feeling over yourself, like, God, dog, that was fucking special. And you get chills, and you get kind of almost emotional, you get kind of choked up in your throat. So basically, man, I'm sitting there, I'm real young, going through all my hardships, just left Buffalo, New York. I have nothing. And never had this feeling before of watching inspiration. I didn't know what inspiration was. I didn't know what any of that shit was. I just knew, like, you know, just pain and suffering and shit. So when I saw this guy who was Rocky getting knocked down and getting up, so I was intrigued. So I sat back and watched it a little bit more. And Apollo was supposed to be the baddest person in boxing, and he knocks this fucker down in the corner. And what brought my attention was it was like a perfect storm for me, was the music was perfect. It was a perfect scene for me to like almost gain strength. And I see this guy in the corner who reminded me of me. Guy couldn't read, talked all fucked up, you know, just kind of this dumb boxer. But he had something that I wanted. And Mickey was saying, his trainer was saying, stay down. And he didn't hear anybody. He didn't give a fuck. All this guy wanted to do was go to the distance. He didn't want to win. He just wanted to be able to go to distance. And when he stood up, you know, off that, after getting knocked down for like the 30th time, and I'll never forget the look when Apollo Creed finally thinks he won. His back is turned to Rocky as Rocky's getting up, and as Mickey's saying, stay down. And once Apollo turns around, he looks at Rocky, that he's now standing up in the corner. And the referee is standing beside Rocky, and Rocky's like, hey, you know, man, I'm fucking good. And when Apollo turns around, the look on this massive man who's the best boxer in the world, his face is just distraught, like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you, man? And when he's kind of wobbling in the corner, she's all fucked up, but he's like, no, man, not today. I just want to go against the best. I want to know that I am somebody. And he gets his gloves and he motions him back over. And Apollo's face, you know, he like puts his face down and he shakes his head, and I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want. So that scene was like, that's how I want to feel, because I was almost Rocky. I could feel how he was feeling. I know the pride he had to feel by, motherfucker, I stood up again. And the pride he had to feel to go 15 rounds with the best person. He didn't win, but it wasn't about that. It was the fact that for the first time in his life, he knew he was something. He was somebody. He wasn't just some old bum from the street, as he said. And I wanted that feeling. So I knew to get it, I had to train. Something like Rocky did, but even harder, because this was a real situation for me. This was real life. So I started to create the real Rocky.